I'm mad. I'm mad because clearly there is nothing interesting going on in the NBA right now. And because of that, there are some dumbass stories that would normally be on the back burner coming to the forefront. I'm talking about two stories in particular. There is the one from the thumbnail regarding the criticism about Jeremy Lin for saying that he has hit rock bottom despite being a millionaire, and the story on LeBron James and his behavior at his son's basketball games, particularly regarding this clip of him at a game where he goes running onto the court. The criticisms of both of these videos are dumb as fuck. That's basically the short version of what this video is about, but for the long version, these criticisms are dumb, and let's talk about why.
Rebound. Save. Absolutely incredibly with the acrobatic alley-oop.
The reason that I hate the criticisms around these two clips and these two players is what it says about how fans and media treat NBA players. They treat them like they are not human, like they do not have feelings, like they're supposed to be some perfect creature. In my second to last video, I went over some of the things that I can't stand about the NBA, and unfortunately this one wasn't mentioned, it just didn't cross my mind. But if both of these stories had happened before I had written that script, it sure as hell would have been mentioned. But before we dive too deep into the topic of players not being treated like humans, let's first go over what the controversies are. I'll start with the one that doesn't piss me off all too much, and that is the LeBron James criticism. I do have an opinion on this, but I don't feel as strongly as I do with the Jeremy Lin stuff. If you don't know the extent of this, LeBron James has been pretty consistently criticized for his behavior on the basketball court at his son's games. He's kind of known for being too loud, being a little too involved, sometimes coaching when he shouldn't on the sidelines, things like that. Recently, a clip came out from a game where his son's team had a really nice lob play, and LeBron ran out onto the court and lost his shoe. This sparked a huge debate on Twitter on whether or not he was pushing it too far, if he was making about himself too much. Also, just before this, there was a clip of LeBron hopping onto the court and dunking in the layup line. As I said in the intro, I don't think this story would normally be big news, but it's August, so it is what it is. There are two main points of view on this. Some people tend to land more in the middle. I kinda do, but I definitely lean more one way than the other. The two sides are LeBron is going too far, his behavior would not be considered appropriate if he were a normal parent, or LeBron might be a little over the top on the sidelines, but as long as it doesn't bother the players and inhibit the game, who cares? I lean more towards the second opinion. There have been a few statements out now from the players regarding the controversy, saying that LeBron has a very positive influence on the team. And recently, this story came out. LeBron told one of the players of the opposing team that he hoped that he would be in the league when the kid was in the league, and that made that kid break down in tears. So to me, LeBron very clearly has a positive influence here. And while sure, he might be a little extra, if the players don't care, then why do you? This is an example of the outside looking in, and even more importantly, the media storm that follows every shadow of LeBron James. I said in episode 6 of the podcast that LeBron can't buy a sandwich without it being a headline, and this is the perfect example of that. You really shouldn't care, it's none of your business. Even if the people in the crowd, the parents, and the players were annoyed by this, it still wouldn't be your business. It would only be the business of the people on the court and in the stands. But, as I said, I don't take too much issue with the average person who disagrees. What I do take issue with is Jason Whitlock and his dumbass statements about LeBron James. Here is a clip.
This is all pretty much standard operating procedure for LeBron at his son's games. I'm sure someone has convinced LeBron that the subsequent viral videos are a good thing. In his mind, LeBron is making fatherhood cool and fun again. I disagree. LeBron is making a spectacle of himself, a circus of his son's early playing days, and using his son's game as yet another platform to build the LeBron social media brand. It's inappropriate. It points to how much fame has inevitably changed LeBron over the past decade.
Claiming that LeBron is doing this to build his social media brand is just downright false and disrespectful. If you know LeBron's backstory, you would understand why LeBron is the way that he is as a father. LeBron didn't have a father in his life, and as a result, he made a point to be a good one when he finally had a kid. LeBron is going to these games to support his son. He is dunking in the layup line to support his son, freaking out on the sidelines because he loves his son. It's not LeBron James trying to build his social media brand. Are you fucking kidding me? This is a ridiculous and disrespectful statement, and it's gross to me, but even more so, it's just illogical. If LeBron cared this much about building his social media brand, he wouldn't be at his son's game. He would be doing some business deal or going on some talk show or doing an interview. LeBron is committed to being a damn good father, and a damn good father he is, and questioning that is just wrong. So, fuck you, Jason Whitlock. Anyways, let's talk about Jeremy Lin. This is the clip that became a controversy.
In English, there's a saying, and it says, once you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. But rock bottom just seems to keep getting more and more rock bottom for me. And so, free agency has been tough, because I feel like in some ways the NBA has kind of given up on me. And after the season, I had to get ready for this Asia trip. And it was the last thing I wanted to do. Because I knew for 6 weeks I would have to just put on a smile. I would have to talk about a championship that I don't feel like I really earned. I have to talk about a future that I don't know if I want to have. And honestly, it's embarrassing and it's tough. A lot of you guys here are going through something even worse.
Lin is talking about how he hasn't gotten any offers in free agency. After being released by the Hawks and signing with the Raptors, Jeremy Lin really struggled, only averaging 7 points and 2 assists on really bad shooting splits. Before this, he was a backup on the Hawks, coming off of an ACL tear that happened in the second game of the season that followed the best year of his career in Brooklyn since the Linsanity days, a season that was cut short as well. Lin was expected to have a career year in 2018, but instead he was handed a torn ACL and eventually a backup role on a 29-win team. Lin's career was looking up for the first time in a while, and then everything came crashing down with an injury. So it's safe to say that Jeremy Lin is on a downswing. Now you might say, oh well, he just won a championship, but as Lin said, he doesn't really feel like he earned it. So that's really not something that's going to make up for his career potentially being over. So what is the issue here? Well, people looked at this genuine human moment where Jeremy Lin opened up in front of thousands of people and basically said, fuck you, you have money. Shut up, you have money. The oldest and dumbest argument in the book. Apparently, if you are rich, you aren't allowed to be sad. Can't even be sad. Whatever tears may come out of your eyes, you can just wash away with $100 bills. Because someone who has a lot of money and or fame being sad, depressed, and eventually even possibly suicidal has never happened before, he said with dripping sarcasm. This is kind of a dark topic, but I feel like it needs to be mentioned. Hopefully it doesn't get me demonetized. Robin Williams was estimated to be worth $50 to $100 million before he killed himself. Even though I'm not entirely convinced that it was a suicide, Kurt Cobain was worth $50 million and he killed himself. Money is not everything. Money does not equal happiness. Money does not keep you from feeling negative emotions. Saying that Lin has no reason to be sad is you looking at Jeremy Lin's life and seeing that that money is something that you want and deciding that you would never be sad with that. But that's your perspective, again, from the outside looking in. Happiness is a matter of perspective. There are billions of people in the world with worse situations than Jeremy Lin, but that doesn't make Lin's struggles any less real, and it doesn't make him any worse of a person for feeling them. Jeremy Lin wants to play basketball. That's his passion. That's what he loves. To say he has no right to be sad because he has money is just ignorant and insensitive. It's also worth mentioning that Lin says that he understands most people have worse struggles than him, so he is aware no need to kick him while he's down. Maybe you don't feel sad for Lin, that's fine, but you can't tell him that he has no right to feel what he feels. That really just is not for you to decide. NBA players are human beings. I feel like we forget that way too much. And I do understand why. I mean, think about the best player that you ever played against in a pickup game. Think about how much that guy absolutely killed everyone else on the court. That guy has almost a 0% chance of being the 15th man on the worst NBA team in the league. That's how hard it is to make it there. When you look at offseason highlights of centers who can't shoot to save their lives suddenly taking step-back threes like Andre Drummond was in the Drew League, it really puts into perspective how good these dudes are. Andre Drummond is a better three-point shooter than the average guy at a gym, even though he can't make a jump shot to save his life. I mean, Shaq drains threes in games versus non-NBA players, the dude who struggled to hit more than 1 of every 2 free throws he took. These guys are so good at what they do that it makes sense to view them as more than human. But seeing someone as more than human does not necessarily mean treating them well. It can often mean the opposite. People disassociating NBA players from humans leads to them treating them differently, for better and for worse. So the point is, when a player shows some genuine human emotion, instead of looking up their net worth on Google, just view them as humans. Well, that's the point that I'm going to pretend this was about. In reality, I just wanted to complain about a few things and say the line, "Fuck you, Jason Whitlock." That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.